Well, hello and good afternoon. Welcome everybody to the Business Spotlight. I'm your host today, Todd Rodden, certified action coach, business and executive coach. And I'm thrilled today to have Justin Rissmiller here with us. He's with T&R Recordings. Excited to have him as a part of our community here today and take learnings from his experiences and I believe nearly 9 years of being a business owner. So maybe Justin, maybe take a minute, introduce yourself, and maybe take a little minute, just talk about your business, a little background there, and maybe how you got started.
My name's Justin Rissmiller. I'm born and raised around this area. Springfield, Ohio is actually where I'm from, but I reside in Dayton area now. I started my business it's been a little over 9 years ago. And I started off just as a freelancer. I just did basic web design and other social media help while I was also working full time at Wright State University. Upon things getting more, spread out and more expanded, and I started expanding my work into like SEO, search engine optimization. Things started to become more full-time for me. I used my connections at Wright State with some of the professors and how they were running small side businesses to enhance my own business, and eventually I was able to actually leave my staff position there and start my agency full-time. And originally it was just me. And like I said, it was just freelance work. So I did, a few $1,000s a year roughly, but it's been now to around $1 million a year business. And I've been able to develop that from just doing web design to, like I said, like social media marketing, SEO. And then I've been able to expand my offerings from helping small businesses to also helping musicians and filmmakers as well. So it's been quite a ride.
Wow, an interesting mix of different business lines you have there. So, is there one in particular that takes more of your focus, or are you juggling all those different lines of business?
I juggle pretty much all of them at once. I mean, it definitely does take up most of my time. I don't really have much leisure time per se, but I consider what I do leisure time overall. I mean, I've been able to expand everything of what I do just from helping small businesses to also helping musicians, which was my main goal of what I've always wanted to do. I've always been like a musician at heart. And so I've been able to take what I know in helping small businesses and then take that and help musicians and also help my own musicianship as well. I help with distribution and publishing for 13 different artists. That includes myself. And so I would say it's about equal amounts of time on both ends, but that, takes up my quote unquote leisure time. But that's what I choose to spend my time on and everything. But yeah.
Well, impressive to be able to build the business really from scratch up to $1 million plus a year business. So, with a journey like that, there's got to be some learnings. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself back 9 years ago when you were started to think about differently?
I would say to take people's advice, but also do research beforehand. I mean, a lot of what I had issues with when I first started is I took uh, things right away at face value, and I would assume that things were a certain way before I actually did any research or investigation. So I wasted, some of my, capital at first just doing those things and just making small mistakes. But luckily, I was able to, catch myself, and I was able to actually reorganize my business and before any trouble started to occur. But I would say just seek for other business owners. Seek all your options, talk to multiple people, research different things that you can do with your business or how to grow. Some people don't have the best intentions. Not to say that all people have bad intentions, but there are some people that want you to fail. And so I would say definitely just seek out all your options, do research, and know that this is not the type of, entrepreneurship is not the type of thing where it's a 9 to 5 job. I mean, I work nearly 24 hours a day. Not to say I'm up 24 hours a day, but if there's something that happens within my business that I need to attend to, because I have clients all over the United States. Some of them are 3-4 hours behind the time zone here in Dayton, Ohio, and so if they need things done, if their website crashes, I have to take care of that, and it may be 6 a.m. here when I have to do that. And, you just got to do it. You got to do it. If not, you'll lose clients. You'll get the bad word of mouth spread and people will shut you down. I mean, that's the world of business is you're working for the people you're here to help people. And so, especially my type of business, I mean, I'm here to help other businesses grow. And if I'm literally hindering that, then they're not going to work with me. So,
Yeah. Easy to have that feeling like the sun never sets on your business, right? So
you're right. It definitely doesn't, but it's a good thing too. I mean, I don't do a lot of the things I used to do like 10 years ago. Like I used to have a lot more leisure time, just time with my hands that, I mean, almost like sheer boredom, where I, do things like watch TV or this and that. And now I feel like I utilize my time a lot better. Being an entrepreneur it's forced me to, not only stay motivated, but to, get my time management together. Time management's always a thing that I don't want to say it's always been a thing I've struggled with, but I've struggled with at times. But being an entrepreneur has forced me, because I make my own dollar. So if I don't work or I don't do something, it really, I mean, it hurts me. So I have to, I force myself to do these certain things, these tasks to get done and to keep people happy, keep myself happy, keep my employees happy, keep the overall business healthy. And so, yeah, it's definitely, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's about it, I guess, on that.
no, that's a lot. That's a lot. So
Yeah.
I think you've probably hit on this partially, but what else would you attribute your growth to? So you sound like you've had a pretty steady growth curve up to a million plus a
Uh,
year.
I would say my hardworking team. I mean, like really, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be at the position of where I am at now. I have a great team. I have a mix between part-time, employees. I have one other full-time employee and also contractors, and I usually hire in like an intern or two throughout the school year as well. And I mean, if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at. There's no way I would have the amount of time or patience to deal with certain things. I mean, this type of business that I do is very time consuming. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of patience. A lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things do go wrong, but it's just about finding the right solutions and getting back on track. And if it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't be where I am today. There's no way.
Well, hey, let's pull the string there on the team concept a little bit more, because it's something you've grown the team over time there. So, what have you learned as an employer over the years, right? And you've got a mix of full-time and part-time. I think you mentioned some interns as well. Walk us through, what you've learned there as an employer, and what you might do differently, knowing what you know now.
I've always tried to, put myself in other people's shoes, whether it be, what do people really want out of a job or career and whatnot. I know that myself, I always wanted, respect and recognition for my work. Um, Pay obviously is important. Obviously, benefits are wonderful as well. But I would say a lot of things that motivate, at least my team, would be the recognition for their hard work and giving them credit for that work. I've never been the type of employer that has just sought out to have myself recognized and only myself recognized. I've always wanted my team to be a part of that and to grow with me as well. And so that's definitely been one attribute that I've really learned with being an employer is, people they don't just want respect or recognition. They want other things as well too. I understand, people have families and, they have to make their money as well, but respect and recognition and just showing people that they care, that you care and that they matter are very important. I would say that's been one attribute that I've really strongly soaked into myself throughout the years, and I've been able to keep the same team for multiple years now. The only turnover rate that I've had has just been like the interns. They come and go, but other than that, I've been able to keep like a solid team for years now. And some of them also do part-time other jobs as well. But I'm a very flexible person. The type of work that I do is thankfully I'm able to be flexible. I don't have like a clock in, clock out type of, uh, mechanism type thing that I work with, my employees. Like it's basically if you get the job done, it's done. Well, obviously I want the job to be done well, but I don't make somebody just sit around if it's, they got an hour left on the clock and, they just have to sit around and just do nothing and just be miserable. As long as the job gets done and as long as it's done well, and as long as we communicate well, everything's good.
Mm-hmm. So great. You've got over the years, you feel like low turnover. You highlighted, a lot around recognition, being respectful. Maybe share some specific things you do to really build that into the culture that others could take notes from.
I would say I always try to get involved as much as what's appropriate. A lot of people, all people are different. I mean, some people are going to want talk about things that are going on at home. Some people are not going to want to talk about things going on at home. I don't try to ever, fuel the fire with any drama or gossip. That we don't do that here. But at the same time, too, I do leave like an open door policy. If someone needs to talk about something, I'm not going to judge. I mean, who am I to judge? I've gone through things in life that I'm proud of and not proud of. And I'm not going to be a type of person that's going to just fire somebody over something that has nothing to do with our work at all. I've always left that as an option for people. Just if they need to talk, I'm always here. If they need to just, anything, if they need the time off, I'm always here. I'm a very understanding, very flexible person. I feel because of those things. Now there is a difference too between someone getting too flexible, too friendly, and then them getting like walked all over or just making it an unprofessional workplace. I feel that like I've been able to like draw the fine line between that, like making myself available, but also making myself not somebody that I'm just a friend or whatnot. I'm also their employer. We're here to get a job done, but also too I am here to help. I'm not just some uptight guy that's going to fire you because you have an opinion. I keep a free speech type motto here. Now, I don't necessarily get into politics too much. I'm not a political person, but at the same time, I'm acceptance of everybody. I don't judge anybody based on, what, where they're from or anything like that. I judge somebody based on their character. If they're a good person. And I know that sounds very vague and very cliche, but that is what matters to me, and that's all that matters to me.
Well, hey, in this that's a great background. In this day and age, you don't have to talk to too many business owners and hear about some of the challenges with finding great, talented employees these days. So how have you been able to find talented folks to join your team? What are some of your best practices there for finding them and or making sure that they're the right fit? And you talked about the importance of character. How do you make sure that as you go through kind of the interview process?
With a few of my employees, like three of them in particular, I met in college actually. I had a cohort set of courses with them, and after college was finished, I was able to, stay in touch with them, and so they eventually saw what I was doing after a while as I was working at Wright State University, and so they wanted to jump on board. They saw that I was very flexible with, how work is done, project management and whatnot. And so some of the persons that I knew from college and everything, one of them in particular, he helps me a lot with sales. And so he has a very time constrained schedule. And so he works based on, per project based on commission. And that works very well for him. So, and that always has for the past 10 years. So he's continued to stay with me. Ones that I've done like outside hires, I feel I've gotten just very lucky. I mean, I went through an interview process with quite a few people, and there wasn't anything in particular that reasons why I didn't hire certain people. It was more kind of based on they were looking for other things, different things that I could not offer them, unfortunately. I can't offer somebody a strict like 9 to 5 all the time. This is kind of an open-ended, it's a very flexible schedule, but if someone's looking for a 9 to 5, it's probably not the best. I'm not the best person to, be working with usually. And that's mainly been like the main thing that's been why people that have applied through me have been turned down. It's just I don't want to lead somebody on. I don't try to tell somebody, make faulty promises and stuff that I can do something for them when I can't do it. I mean, I can barely keep myself on a 9 to 5, let alone anybody else. And so that's usually like a big attribute that, and things that just people have to understand to work with me. And I mean, I'm a very flexible, very understanding person. I have a sense of humor. I'm not judgmental, but I'm also not a 9 to 5 person. I'm more of even a night person. I stay up all night. I work. It's very peaceful for me. I get things done. Plus with like, a lot of the clients being like, 3, 4 hours behind, some of them even being even more behind in time. Working at nighttime usually is the best. I mean, I work with a lot of like venue owners and bars and restaurants out in the Vegas area, and a lot of them, they work, through the evening and night, and then when they get off work and at the late at night there, then they want to do updates on their website and stuff with me. So it could be like 4 in the morning here when I'm doing work, and whatnot. And I've always found, like I said, the nighttime in particular to be very peaceful. It's not uh, things aren't in a rush. I'm not a procrastinator, but I also don't like to I don't like to feel rushed. And so sometimes during the day, things can get pretty hectic. I feel people get more frantic, especially in regards to like anything to deal with travel, because we travel a lot too. We go out to Vegas multiple times a year usually. A lot of my client base is in the Vegas area. That's kind of like another HQ. For us and everything. So we have one of my contractors actually resides there in Vegas full time. He's able to, do a lot of the most of the work remotely, and basically he's the face for me while I'm not there. And so that's we pretty much have two bases almost, but I don't have an official setup actually in Vegas currently. But I'm hoping to do that in the near future, to get something, set up there and going there, because a lot of my clients have started to become more just out west instead of more the Midwest. Midwest, it's usually, out here and everything, it's been more hard to, especially since coronavirus, to keep and retain clientele. A lot of, I know, small businesses very much struggled here in particular, and I lost, quite a bit of them during the COVID period. And so I've been slowly but surely trying to get that back up to normal. But that's definitely been one, I know it's probably a later question, but it's definitely been one challenge that, I've had as an agency is, just getting everything back to, quote unquote normal since that COVID period.
Yeah, so since you hit on that, that's always a popular topic. So, how have you adapted, getting through the pandemic and now post-pandemic? How's it changed your business, and how's it created growth opportunities for you that you maybe hadn't seen before?
Let's see. Well, when the pandemic started and everything, it didn't affect me too much. We have a place of business. We have like a brick and mortar type area, but it's more of just like a small space that we rent. It's nothing like too large. It's mainly just a small little office space that, we rent kind of like off of like a co-hatch type thing where it's a
Mhm.
what is that, collaborative workplace essentially.
Mhm.
Rent some space there. And so like when the pandemic hit, my overhead for the business is not too high, so it did not affect like my business too much in that sense. We've always worked pretty remotely, so it did not affect anything in that sense. What it did affect though is a lot of the businesses that the pandemic in turn affected, and therefore they had to close their doors. Some of them for good, and that's unfortunate. Also, unfortunately, had like one old client. He actually committed suicide during the whole ordeal. It was very, very traumatic and crazy situation with him, and you know, his family had to go through a lot, and it was definitely rough. And I'm for certain it's still rough for them as well. But how, overcame everything was just piled through. I mean, we got the PPP and we did the EIDL assistance from the government and everything, and that helped with my overhead. It helped with keeping and retaining the current employees I have. If it wasn't for that, I would have probably had to, lay off some people and not be, because there was just not as much work. Fortunately, those items from, the government assistance really much helped. And overall, we were able to stay afloat. I would say as for our growth, it plateaued out. I lost clients, but then with the government assistance, that helped. And we didn't experience any growth until this year. I would say it kind of plateaued out for the past, 2, 3 years. And so now we've just now been able to get to the point where like we've been able to gain clients again. There's been plenty of, newer businesses that have been forming around the area, especially in Springfield. Been getting out there and trying to, assist with them. Things have slowly but surely been getting back to normal. I mean, it's definitely been a very long past, 3, 4 years now, but I am thankful that, my business model, it was almost guaranteed at least to survive. I mean, like I said, my overhead's low. I don't have I don't make food or anything like that. Things that like, the restaurant business got very shuttered during that time. And so that I would say mainly just that my business model and what I do for a living, it was not dramatically affected, thankfully.
So as you sit here today, you've talked about how you're experiencing some growth now over the last year. What do you view as your biggest challenge or two?
I would say lately, um, I would say like capital and cash flow. Not to say that like my business is struggling with cash flow. I mean, we have a positive, great cash flow. It's more just like things are expensive. Inflation really affected, everything. And the housing market is, pretty poor. And so being able to, what I was looking at is getting a more permanent space for my business. But with the housing market being pretty crappy for, buyers, and with percentage rates being out the roof, I mean, it's definitely been a challenge with that because I feel like I wouldn't be able to have, I'm at the point now like a fork in the road where if I use the cash flow and capital that I have for a more permanent spot, I spend that money on that. If something would occur like an emergency, I wouldn't have much to fall back on. And so I would say that's been just a big, challenge these days. And I see us overcoming it. I mean, like our revenue is definitely going to be over $1 million this year, which is the first time since 2020 that it's been like that. I mean, the past other few years, I mean, it's not been over a million. I went from having revenue in 2019 at about 1.6 million to then 2020. I mean, it was barely even 500,000. So it dropped quite a bit. And but now this year it's finally been, it's going to go over that $1 million mark. And it's continuing to grow because I mean, obviously, the year we still got quite a few months left, and I've gotten quite a bit of inquiries from in different leads from people to get more business, and I see that increasing. Um, our PR has been going pretty good. We've been getting out there more. I've been trying to focus more on my own internal public relations and marketing to really push that forth. We've been updating our website to make that more up to date, and been offering more services as well. Before we never offered like videography and editing type, of services, but now I've been able to get another contractor to help with those things. So being able to offer video recording services, and also as well as like the music services, but not even just music, but audio editing, that is definitely sought after these days. And so I've been able to offer those things on a more regular basis, which has definitely helped increase my clientele, and my overall performance as a business.
So you're adding some of those different strategies, those different services, lines of business. You talked about kind of being a night owl just due to the nature of the work and some of your clients. So how do you manage personal life with business?
I have my wonderful wife to thank for that. She's wonderful. I mean, we have a son, and basically how we've always, been able to operate for the past 10 years is, she originally started as a teacher. Now she's an education specialist, and she works at a year-round school. So they, go to school, get some time off, go to school, get some time off. And basically we've been able to, because my schedule is very flexible, I can schedule things in advance, but I can also move things around pretty easily. I can, if I'm needed at home, I can be at home. I can also get work done at home, but I can also, take the trips out to Vegas during times that she has off from her work. And we've been able to juggle that pretty well. She works during the days, and so during the summer, now, while she's at work getting prepped for this upcoming fall school year for the children and everything, I watch our son during the day. I'm with him, and even I just, I do sleep some, I sleep at night some. I am more of a night owl, but I just go to bed pretty late. I mean, I go to bed sometimes, 3, 4 in the morning, and I'll get up about like, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and, hang out with my son all day and everything, and then get some work done as I can. And then, as she gets home from work and everything, then we kind of flip flop, I'll go to work, get work done. She'll stay with our son, and then we use the weekend time for family time and hanging out together as a family. And so it's a hectic lifestyle, but I feel that like I'm always using my time for things that matter instead of just, I know plenty of people, they just sit around in front of a TV all day and, are kind of, they don't really do much of anything else. I don't really get much TV time at all. I don't really even watch TV at all, period. But I feel that the time that I do have, it's used well. It's used for family. It's used for friends. It's used for myself. It's used for my work. And it is very a filled up schedule, but it all makes sense. And it's taken, I mean, I've been doing this about 10 years now. And so, the first few years, yeah, I didn't have a life, building up this business and just working constantly. And then just wondering, when are things going to come around to where I was enjoying what I was doing, but like, when am I going to feel like I'm living and be able to reap the benefits of entrepreneurship? And it's taken a few years, but I feel that, the past 5 at least have been, besides the pandemic period, obviously, but I knew that everybody else was struggling, so it wasn't just me. But the past 5 years have been great. It took about 5 years to get to this point, and there's a lot of quote unquote, the old saying like blood, sweat, and tears that went into it. But it's been totally worth it. I can't see myself doing anything else. I don't want to do anything else. I totally love what I do.
Outstanding and great sage advice there. Be very intentional with your time. So I think what you said, focus on what matters, right? So it's
Yep.
definitely easier said than done. So as we wrap our time here, Justin, was there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to bring up or you wanted to highlight for those who are going to be listening in?
Not so. I mean, I would say just overall, my advice would be is there's going to be hard times. Entrepreneurship is not easy. I mean, like I said, I've done this for 10 years now. The first 5 years were, I don't want to say a nightmare, but I went through quote unquote hell and back on many levels, and I didn't give up. Like, I know that's like a cliche thing to say. I'm sure people have heard it millions of times, but it is totally true. There's opportunities everywhere. And if you just stick with it, you do it, you stay motivated, and you get through the hurdles, you can do it. I mean, you definitely can. It's not impossible. There's going to be people that try to bring you down. There's going to be people that tell you that it's impossible, but it's not. The only thing that's stopping you is you, and that's it. So yeah, anybody can do this stuff.
Opportunities everywhere. Gotta love that. So what's the best way, if somebody listening into this, if they want to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way for them to connect?
Yeah, go to our website at www.tnrrecordings.com. You can also reach me at info@tandr.us anytime. I'm up day and night. Shoot me an email, check out our website, check out the music they put out through the different artists. We always accept all and any messages, demo submissions from any artists. We're always open to listen to any and all demo submissions. I listen to every single one of the demo submission that I get, which can sometimes equate to a few hundred a week. I listen to them though. So definitely, check us out, shoot us some songs if you want, and I'm more than willing to help you out if I can.
Well, and I'd want to echo that for folks, the chance, check out their website. Just a great array of services Justin and the T&R team provide. So again, Justin, thank you for taking the time to share your story. It's very heartfelt, and you still see the passion you have for the business nearly 10 years into it as well. So thank you for making that time and sharing your journey. And for those who are listening in, and we thank you for the time as well. And we look forward to seeing you on the next episode of the Business Spotlight. I think you all have a great day.
All right, thank you.